A 3-year-old startup just hit $3 billion by doing the exact opposite of Google. While Google gives you millions of links to search through, Perplexity gives you one verified answer. The numbers tell an impossible story. Users spend over 23 minutes per session on Perplexity versus Google's average 10.5 minutes. While Perplexity's revenue exploded from $20 million to a projected $100 million in just 1 year. But here's what every entrepreneur watching this needs to understand. We'll reveal how a big company's biggest strength can secretly become their biggest problem. Welcome to Simple Storytellers, where we make complex business crystal clear. Today, we're breaking down one of the most counterintuitive competitive strategies in business history. Every entrepreneur faces nightmare scenarios competing against a company with unlimited resources. Google has $307 billion in revenue and 2 decades of search dominance. Meanwhile, Perplexity started with 4 founders and a laptop. The traditional playbook says, fight fire with fire, build better technology, raise more money, hire more engineers. Perplexity's founders, AI researchers from OpenAI, Meta, Google, and Databricks could have followed this path. They had the credentials to raise hundreds of millions and build competing infrastructure. Instead, they did something counterintuitive. They didn't try to beat Google at Google's own game. They created an entirely different game where Google's core strength became irrelevant. They built an answer engine instead of a search engine. While Google shows you everything, Perplexity shows you what you need. What if the secret to beating giants isn't about matching their resources, but about making their resources irrelevant? In the next 12 minutes, we'll decode 3 strategies that could revolutionize how you approach entrenched competitors. 1. One answer beats a million links. Here's where most entrepreneurs get it wrong. They think beating Google means building better search algorithms, faster servers, or more comprehensive databases. Perplexity's founders realized something profound. Google's problem wasn't technical, it was trust. When you search best laptop for college students, Google gives you 2.4 million results. The first page shows sponsored ads, affiliate marketing sites, and SEO-optimized content farms. You spend 20 minutes clicking through articles, cross-referencing reviews, and still feel uncertain about your decision. Perplexity took a radically different approach. Instead of indexing more websites, they focused on one thing, making you trust their single answer more than Google's million options. Here's how they built this trust systematically. First, radical transparency. Every Perplexity answer shows you exactly which sources it used with direct links to the original content. When Perplexity tells you the MacBook Air is best for college students, you see it cited The Verge, Consumer Reports, and 3 university tech blogs. Second, they admitted uncertainty. While Google's algorithm pretends every search has a definitive answer, Perplexity says, I'm not sure when evidence is conflicting. This counterintuitive honesty actually builds more trust than false confidence. Third, real-time verification. Google's results can be months or years old. Perplexity checks current information and tells you when data was last updated. But here's the breakthrough insight every entrepreneur needs to understand. They didn't build better technology to compete with Google. They built better psychology. The trust over features strategy works because customers don't want more options. They want confidence in their decisions. Perplexity realized that Google's strength, comprehensive results, had become their weakness in an age of information overload. The pattern is clear. Find where your competitor overwhelms customers with too many options. Then build trust through simplicity and transparency. But Perplexity's second strategy was even more counterintuitive. While Google pursued vertical integration across their entire stack, Perplexity built a hybrid ecosystem that owns some capabilities while partnering for others, and this intelligent routing became their secret weapon. 2. Partnership over ownership. Here's where Perplexity made their boldest business decision. While Google invested tens of billions constructing proprietary AI infrastructure, Perplexity deliberately spent virtually nothing on ownership. Instead, they architected something exponentially more powerful: a dynamic ecosystem. Google follows the traditional Silicon Valley approach. Own and control every part of your business. They possess YouTube for video content, Google Scholar for academic research, and Gemini for AI processing. Perplexity completely inverted this paradigm. They built their own sonar model while simultaneously partnering with OpenAI's GPT, Anthropic's Claude, and Meta's Llama. They maintain minimal infrastructure, leveraging cloud providers for scaling. This hybrid approach appears strategically complex on paper. But here's the genius. Perplexity's hybrid architecture delivers dynamic routing capabilities. While Google's infrastructure requires massive fixed costs, Perplexity can instantly route queries to their cost-effective sonar model for basic searches, or leverage OpenAI's GPT-4 for complex reasoning, or tap Anthropic's Claude for nuanced analysis, all based on real-time optimization. The strategic pattern: instead of choosing between ownership and partnerships, build intelligent routing systems that optimize between your own assets and external capabilities dynamically. But the third strategy reveals how Perplexity weaponized Google's most formidable strength into their critical vulnerability. 3. Why they invented a new category. Here's where Perplexity achieved something that defies conventional business logic. They scaled exponentially while simultaneously increasing quality, not sacrificing it. The numbers tell an impossible story. Perplexity exploded from 3,000 daily queries in December 2022 to 30 million daily queries by mid-2025, a 10,000x increase in just 2.5 years. Most platforms break under this kind of growth. Perplexity got faster. But here's the breakthrough insight every entrepreneur needs to understand. Perplexity didn't achieve this scale by optimizing Google's game. They created an entirely new game with new rules. The category creation advantage. Traditional scaling wisdom says, grow your market share within existing categories. Perplexity took a radically different approach. They created the category of conversational search and forced every competitor to play by their rules. Think of it like this. Instead of building a faster horse to compete with cars, Perplexity invented the airplane while everyone else was still arguing about engine specifications. Perplexity created the first platform that combined real-time web search with conversational AI and transparent sourcing, a combination that didn't exist before. The result? Every major player now validates Perplexity's approach by imitating it. Google added AI overviews. Microsoft enhanced Bing with conversational features. OpenAI added web browsing to ChatGPT. What this means for your business: when you create new standards instead of meeting existing ones, competitors become followers instead of threats. The revenue per user scaling paradox. Here's where Perplexity broke another fundamental business assumption: that scale dilutes unit economics. Perplexity's revenue per user increased as their user base exploded, from $20 million annual recurring revenue in early 2024 to a projected $100 million by end of 2025, a 400% increase, while user sessions grew to over 22 million monthly active users. This defies the typical scaling pattern where growth dilutes profitability. Perplexity achieved the opposite through quality scaling, making the product more valuable as more people use it. Every new query improves their AI models. Every citation builds their credibility database. Network effects that strengthen the product instead of diluting it. Strategic questions for entrepreneurs. What new category could you create that forces competitors to play catch up? What this means for your business. Smart scaling beats big scaling. Design systems that get more efficient as they grow, not more expensive. 3 lessons every entrepreneur can use. So, what can every entrepreneur learn from Perplexity's billion-dollar playbook? 3 counterintuitive strategies that transformed a startup with 4 founders and a laptop into Google's most credible threat. Strategy 1, trust beats features. Perplexity didn't build a better search algorithm. They built a more trustworthy one. Every answer includes verifiable citations. Users spend 23+ minutes per session because they trust what they're reading. The lesson: stop competing on features alone. In an AI-driven world, provable accuracy beats impressive capabilities. Strategy 2, partner, don't build. While Google spent billions building proprietary infrastructure, Perplexity worked with an ecosystem. Multiple AI models, strategic partnerships with Samsung and PayPal, 80,000 plus developers building on their platform. They created exponential capabilities with linear investment. The lesson: when speed matters more than control, partnering beats building everything yourself. Strategy 3, define categories, don't chase markets. Perplexity didn't compete in search. They created conversational search. Now every competitor copies their citation model. Google added AI overviews. Microsoft enhanced Bing. OpenAI added web browsing. Category creators capture disproportionate value because competitors become followers. But here's what betting on these counterintuitive strategies delivered: a multi-billion-dollar valuation in just 3 years, and the ultimate validation, forcing trillion-dollar companies to abandon their own playbooks and copy yours instead. If this breakdown of Perplexity's multi-billion-dollar strategy gave you clarity on how to compete with giants in your own industry, hit that subscribe button. Because at Simple Storytellers, we're dedicated to making complex business crystal clear, one story at a time. And if you found real value here, show some love with a like. But here's what would mean even more. If you think this could help someone in your network see competition differently, share it with them. Let's build a community of entrepreneurs and business leaders who aren't afraid to challenge the impossible. Because the best business insights are meant to be shared, not hoarded.